Hi, and welcome to Female Entrepreneurs Magazine, your go to platform for ambitious women who are ready to take the business world by storm. I'm your host, Angel France, and each week we'll dive into the latest strategies, stories, and success secrets from the most inspiring female entrepreneurs around the world. Today on The Real Female Entrepreneurs, we're turning pressure into purpose with a woman whose story reads like a resilience masterclass. From surviving a tsunami, a kidnapping, and even petrol bombs, yes, really, to being crowned Best International Keynote Speaker. She's on a mission to help leaders rise with empathy, clarity, and courage. Her Amazon bestseller, Her Middle Name is Courage, says it all. And so does her presence on stages around the world. Please help me welcome the globally celebrated, fearless, and fiercely empowered Heidi Denning. Welcome.
Hello. Hi there, Angel.
Hey, you are amazing. Oh my God, I cannot wait to hear this story. I want to ask another story, something of you, if you don't mind. Can you tell us a little bit about the tsunami and what exactly happened? I mean, I really would love to hear the story because I mean, it's just amazing.
Yes, I was in a place. I was on my computer, just sending some emails, and I looked around where I was sitting, and all of a sudden there wasn't the people there that had been. Like, the place was quite full. It was like a little internet place, and I could hear someone talking outside on a megaphone saying something, but it was in a different language that I didn't understand. So I just kept going, I had my to-do list. I had things to get out to the world. And then, about a minute later, I looked up again, and it was just me and one other woman who was sitting there, and she was a local woman. I said, look, what's going on? What's that man saying out there? And she took this deep breath and said, oh, there's a tsunami coming. I said, a tsunami? To where? And she said, here. And I'm like, when? And she said, 2:32. That's very specific. And I look at my laptop and it's 2:21. So I close everything up. I run outside and everyone's going crazy. The mamas have got their children. They're running. Dads are dragging their little ones. And everyone's trying to get to high ground because what I can see that there's been a big tsunami warning and there's only minutes left until it hits where we are, which is a small island in the Pacific. So as I'm going up this hill, a truck comes past UNICEF, where they were staying, where I was staying, and they're like, get in the back, get in the back. So I'm back of the truck and it's just piled with people, and I'm like, I could actually die today. I don't know how big a tsunami wave is. I do not know if this hill is going to be tall enough to keep me safe. I better call my husband and let him know that I love him, and this might be our final conversation. So I ring him from the back of the truck. You've got to understand, it is loud. I'm jammed. There's so many people. Children are crying. People are screaming. Everyone's frightened. The truck noise as it's trying to get up this dirt hill, it's noisy. And, I have called my husband thousands of times in our marriage, and he either picks up or it goes to voicemail. But on this particular day, the day I think I'm going to die, it goes to voice to text. And I get this, please leave your message, we'll convert it to a text. So I'm like, darling, as I recall, my anxiety, because my breathing is so, I'm like, darling, there's a tsunami coming, and I don't know if I'm going to get safe, and I don't know if I'm going to live, and so I'm just ringing to let you know that I love. And just as I'm about to say you, complete my sentence, Telstra, our Australian carrier, says, thank you for your message, we'll convert it to a text. I'm like, no. Anyway, I didn't get to have my last conversation with my husband. You can see I'm alive and well because luckily we got to high ground, and we were kind of waiting, just looking out at this ocean in front of, like, this vast Pacific, thinking, I mean, what do we have to notice? Like, what are the signs? Do we see the wave building? And I've watched movies where it looks so calm and fine, and then it's not. So right up to when we got notification from the High Commission, actually, that the tsunami had broke 100 meters offshore, thankfully, that we knew that we were okay. But it was terrifying. I mean, I really like that moment where I thought I better make the last call. Like that's a really big moment in life when you get to that.
So I know that's probably one thing that has transformed you into the entrepreneur you are. I know there has to be others. Do you mind sharing us what really transpired into you becoming the amazing entrepreneur you are? Because, some always happens to somebody.
Yeah, look, I feel like I'm a bit of cat with 9 lives. There's been a few things. I mean, I did wake up when I was 11 with this random virus. It meant I couldn't walk for 8 months. I'd lost the use of my legs. The doctor said there was a 75% chance I'd spend the rest of my life in a wheelchair. I was backpacking in Africa and got forced into a car with an AK-47 at my head when I was in my 20s. And I was here alone where I am at the moment last year when a catastrophic 7.4 magnitude earthquake hit. And probably the biggest turning point that has really contributed to the work I now do was 10 years ago now. I was leading a team in the Pacific, a place where I have worked, lived and holidayed for all of my adult life. And we unfortunately got caught up in some local conflict that had nothing to do with us, but we were targeted because the people who were involved felt that if they killed us, that their message would be heard. So after a very we were doing volunteer work, and we'd worked really hard all day, and we were all asleep, sleeping soundly and proudly after all the good work we'd done that day. And I was awoken to a bang, and that was the first petrol bomb, or Molotov cocktail as they're called in other places in the world, hit the roof of my bedroom. And so as I kind of came out of my sleep, my whole room was filled with smoke. And I looked out the window and everything was on fire. And I saw a bunch of men running from where I was sleeping with these big sticks of fire that they'd gone around and also set everything alight. So got all the team out, and we spent a terrifying night on the side of a hill, waiting for the help that never came, because you see, we're on a remote island on this isolated corner in the Pacific where there is no emergency services to call. So we just waited for dawn, and where the Australian High Commission sent in planes to evacuate us. But yeah, it was a very big turning point in my life. You can imagine that. So there were physical issues. I broke a bone in my foot, and I had, because I don't know how long I was actually, a car had been bombed right outside my window. So the fumes from that had obviously been coming into my room for we don't know how long, but I had lung damage, and other people in my team were physically hurt from it. But we you get over physical scars, but it is the internal scars that take a lot longer. PTSD is a very difficult thing to come back from, and when you've had, what I learned was when you are woken to have your life in danger, like I was and like everyone was that night, your body, every time you try to go to sleep, your body thinks, sleep is attached to the fact that you might be harmed. So you're always, I had this horrific insomnia for a long time. I still have trouble with it. So you're always having your ear out. You can't sleep soundly because you think something terrible is going to happen, and that just has this terrible effect. And as we know, as a female entrepreneur, as any human, sleep is what we need to heal. And sleep is what we need to be able to do the great work and to show up and be a great leader and to be a great partner and friend and human. And when you don't have sleep, everything can crumble. And when you top that on top of trauma, it's hard. So, I say that was such a turning point, obviously for, personal reasons, professional reasons. I mean, I wasn't able to work for quite a while, but what it did was make me recognize that when I finally was able to crawl out of rock bottom, I knew that I had some strategies that I could share with other entrepreneurs. How, we all have petrol bomb moments, right? They may not be actual ones, but life deals some pretty hard things. There's grief, divorce, injury, there's bankruptcy, there's financial distress, there's wars and elections and things that really impact us. Everyone has petrol bomb moments. But what do we do about them? Because we can't control them. They're going to happen, unfortunately. But what can we do to make sure we can crawl out of that terrible place we find ourselves in and keep striving and keep showing up and keep being the great entrepreneur that we are, that can make an impact in the world? Because what other choice do we have? This is what I've learned, and this is now. I'm not grateful for that night. I don't believe I have gratitude for that night. But what I've done is be able to turn it into something good, and that I'm grateful for. I'm grateful for me being able to turn it into something good.
And you had to totally switch careers. You switched after that, correct?
Correct. Yeah.
Because during that bombing, what were you doing, if you don't mind?
Well, I was actually on a bit of a sabbatical at the time. I wasn't completely clear what I was going to do. I'd sold a business that I'd had for 17 years, just a few months before. So I was on this kind of sabbatical time. I had the education not-for-profit still, but I wasn't sure career-wise what I was next going to do. But from that pivotal moment, I knew there was something, and I just, it definitely isn't what I ended up doing then, what isn't what I'm doing now, but what I started doing then has led to what I'm doing now, which of course is what we always find ourselves in this entrepreneur world, right? It always changes. We adapt as the environment needs us to adapt, and as we try things and we fail and we get ourselves back up again. And I think that's what I've learned, how to get myself back up again, how to make the adaptation, how to make the pirouette, as I like to call it, to find the next best thing for me.
A dancer at heart. I love it. Do the pirouette. And so with that pirouette and making those changes, and I mean, we have to come full circle all the time in our life. Things happen and we come full circle. And that's what you teach people how to do now.
Yes,
how to crawl out. Yeah. And I love it.
Mm.
And I love the fact that your middle name is Courage.
Yeah, me too. I keep reminding myself of that when I need it.
So this next question is going to be super easy for you, but then I believe there's some things you can give our audience that could actually give them some insight because of where you live and you actually speak globally around the world. How do you balance that with the multiple time changes and everything else, and with the family and friends?
Yeah. I haven't got all the answers to that. I struggle, and I definitely don't do it well all the time, but I have certainly put some strategies in place for myself because I know what works for me. And I think that's, what we learn about ourselves. And it's that self-awareness of, all right, what is working for me and what is not? Let me learn from that. So I know for me to be able to show up in business and do what I want to do and lead in the way I want to lead and impact the way I want to impact, I first have to ensure that my health is super good. And I mean my physical health. So I know what I put into my body, that I have to move, that I have to have stillness and good sleep. Social health is crucial to me. I am a real people person. I need to have interaction with others daily, because I feel like I'm a wilting flower if I don't have social interaction. I mean, during the lockdowns a few years ago, like I really unraveled because I just couldn't stand it. I could not stand it. And now that I'm working remotely in quite an isolated area, you have to be very strategic about that, because my social health impacts my mental health, and that impacts my professional health. So I, make sure it's all working together. My mental health, I am very aware of when I start to just get the wobbles and what I need to do for that. And, I have this great book that I read a number of years ago, The Gap and the Gain, and it's just all about, being able to see the gain within a situation, not the gap, because we can easily do that. And I have to remind myself that of all the time when I'm getting wobbly, because when we get wobbly, all we see are the challenges and the obstacles and the things aren't going right. And I have to catch myself. Okay, what's good here? Can I find a little smidgy micro win in my day, in this moment? Because that just changes something, and my mental health can start to feel a little bit better before it, gets out of control. And of course, my financial health. As an entrepreneur, I understand that if my finances aren't I don't have that stability, again, my mental health is impacted. So, I used to always just think about my health as like my physical mental health, but no, there are other aspects to it that I know that I need to recognize and be aware of, and make sure that I'm on track with all of those 4 areas.
Yeah. Definitely 100%. If you're not right in all the areas of your life, something's going to tilt off. It's like having a table.
Yes, definitely.
Definitely. I love it. All right. So, what advice do you have for other women trying to grow their business?
Look, I think, starting a business is difficult. There's no doubt about that. But sticking with a business is much harder.
Yeah.
Sticking with it, because it's not easy. It never goes to plan. You just have to keep getting up more times than you fall down. And you can only do that if you really, really want it. You've got to have that deep feeling in your belly that this is what I've been put on this earth to do, and have that really purpose-driven reason for continuing to do what you do. And I just think when we're in our busyness, we can get a little lost and forget about that. And once we take the time, and morning I have a Trello board all around that, just to remind myself. It's in my calendar. This is 45 minutes, and I'm looking at my goals, and I'm looking at my values, and reminding myself of my purpose, because we can get lost and just caught up in busyness, and that's not good for us as entrepreneurs at all.
And distractions from outside forces as well.
Yeah.
And I mean,
of course,
anything could distract us, and then we go off on a tangent, and we see another squirrel. I mean, I have squirrel issues. I have to stay focused, otherwise I'm going to squirrel out.
Correct. I have this little book. I've bought beautiful things. I've tried the digital ones. But what happens is when I get to the end, I need to go and get this another beautiful thing, or I need to, I just photocopy on, paper, and I've got what my micro wins are for the day. What are the habits that I need to do for the day? What are my 3 focus? It's my daily little book, It's just stapled. It's not pretty. It fits in my handbag, but this is what keeps me on track. You've got to find what's right for you, right? We're all different.
Yeah, and I need both. I need digital, and I need the old school one. And so I have found, oh my God, I'll tell you what happened this year. I'll just make you laugh. So I was on a cruise in January for work. All right. It was a marketing cruise. And I had my little old school little, it's like this big. Yes. I have itty bitty. And I couldn't find it when we came home.
No. Oh, no.
I was like, oh my God. And I finally found it this past week, and I've been so productive. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I'm so
Yeah.
excited.
Yeah.
So yeah, because I've done all kinds of other notebooks. I'll go get them, but I don't like them. I've done my
Yeah.
own before
Yeah.
too.
Yeah. Yeah. I hear you.
So I get it. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
I can.
Knowing what you've learned now in your businesses, you've had a few different businesses, and
Yes.
so what would you go back and tell your 18-year-old self?
Yeah, I would tell my 18-year-old self, as I was this very confident, sparkly-eyed young woman who thought that things were going to fall in place for her, that right, and it's about managing expectations of how life is going to be, and it doesn't always go to plan. But what I have learnt most from my business life around that topic that I would like my 18-year-old self to know is that the connections that you nurture throughout your life are the most important ones, because when you get the wobbles and when things don't go to plan, when you have your petrol bomb moments, whatever they look like for you, if you have not done the work to nurture great people around you before those moments happen, it's too late after the moment. Yes, you will have people who will help you, but it will not be long lasting, and it may not last for as long as you need. And it's not fair, I don't think, to call on people to help you if you have not given in the first place. Like, this is a two-way street as humans. You must nurture relationships, and I don't mean strategically for my petrol bomb moment later in life. I just mean that this is what helps us get through the good times and the bad times. So find your people. And I think, for female entrepreneurs, we need to find other women like us, because as we know, our family and friends who perhaps have been employees all their life don't get what we do. They don't get it. And they're good to have. You've got to have those people in your life for things, but you also need to find your business people, because when things happen, business can be tough. And it doesn't mean it's going to fail and be over forever, but it just might be you're in a dip and you need other women who get it to be around you, to nurture you, to support you, to give you the hope, to give you the ideas to move forward.
And the encouragement. Oh, 100%. Isn't that the key?
Yes. Yeah, definitely.
So, in our life, we always have somebody, maybe we come up with an idea, we say we're going to do this to move our business forward. And sometimes it just doesn't work. Everybody's like, oh no, you don't want to do that. So is there a key strategy maybe that you used that maybe somebody said, oh no, you don't want to do that, but you did it anyway and it worked?
Yeah. Well, I just want to flag, I've tried many things and they have not worked. Definitely. Definitely. Like, really, I mean, my VA, who I've had for, 18 years, like, she just must think I'm nuts, like with the different landing pages and things that I get her to create for me, like, truly. Anyways, you got to give it a go, right? And you got to keep learning from them.
I love honesty, because I have had probably thousands of landing pages. I swear. And people look at me like, okay, what's the landing page now? I'm like, trust me.
And how many URLs you've got on Crazy Domains or something like that?
Oh my God, I own
amazing idea. Can I get that? Can I get that website name? Doing that all the time.
I have like 200 now. Used to be like 150. I think we're up to 200 because my brain just doesn't stop.
I know. It feels like such a great idea. Such a great idea. I mean, when my annual things come up to pay for those URLs, I'm like, what was I going to do with that?
My problem is they're on auto draft. And I go, oh, I paid for that?
Yeah. That's a lot of money for that. My one website. How come I'm paying that much for my one website?
Okay.
Yeah. What was the question again? I got distracted. What's
I
something
know,
that
it was fun. It was fun. What's a
yeah.
key strategy that you use that other people said, no, don't
Yeah.
use, but it worked?
Well, I don't know if it's people who said don't use it, but what I've known that people have said that I have listened to, and because there's been lots of times that I've done the opposite, is to really listen to my customers. So all those times that I'm at during the night, I might have had a nice glass of wine and I've got this bright idea and I do that. That is just me in my head. I've got this confirmation bias, of course, that what I'm thinking right then and there is a great idea. But my customers and my audience have had no input to that. And so then I wonder why, no one clicks the button when on my landing page and things like that. So what I've learned is that I need to talk to people who are perhaps going to be buying what I'm offering and just seeing what challenges they've got right now. And this has been a really key learning for me in the last 12 months. And it has really meant that I've talked to lots of people who've bought from me before, not for my keynote speaking. This is for a different product, a professional development product that is my signature program. And, that was from me having conversations, lots of them, with leaders in organizations that have bought me before to do professional development in their organizations. What are your challenges right now? What's going on with your people? What do you need solved? What are you struggling to do as a leader? And so to me, finally, I'm doing something constructive in regards to a key strategy, because it's meant that I've been able to build this professional resilience program that is built specifically for leaders who are struggling to keep their teams engaged, to keep their teams optimistic, to keep their teams being able to adapt to change and challenges. And I'm just so pleased I finally used that strategy of listening to the people who are actually going to buy it.
Yeah. Congratulations. That's exciting. That's a great key strategy, is just listen to other people who are going to buy your services, see what they need.
Yeah, see what they need. Yeah. And I think, we've got such, teams are working from anywhere, right? This is the beauty of our world. But keeping them engaged and connected is a tough thing when you've got a gazillion things to do as a business owner or a leader of a team. And that's where this comes in as well. So I work with leaders who have dispersed teams, because we can be dispersed and it can work beautifully if you've got the right strategies.
100%. That is key. I just spoke to somebody who is a finance manager for a law firm. And so all the lawyers are spread around the country.
Yeah.
And they do everything virtually. It's so cool.
It is, really is.
All right. Can you share any future plans you have that we need to keep an eye out on?
Yes. Well, when I was 20, I had the lucky opportunity to work and live in Vanuatu, which is a group of 83 islands in the South Pacific. So if for those who aren't sure, and it is a tiny little place, but if you think of me a third of the way from Australia on the way to Hawaii, I'm on an atoll in the Pacific Ocean, and this is my second home. So I've always wanted it to be my second home. And last year, my husband and I we came to say goodbye to Vanuatu on a holiday for my birthday. Within 3 days, we were looking at real estate. I flew back the week later, made an offer on a house, and we bought it. It was just one of those random things in life what you do sometimes. So now I'm working from here, and my goal is to really build the South Pacific in regards to. I'm considering. This might be one of those ideas that I wish I didn't have, but there's not an association that represents South Pacific keynote speakers.
Oh, awesome!
And yeah, the people, Melanesians and Polynesians, are beautiful storytellers, and I really feel there's an opportunity to showcase their stories and gift them to the world. So that's one of those little ones that's gurgling away up here. I'm not sure how it's going to play out yet, but it's gurgling away. But really, I would love to be able to continue the work that I'm doing remotely with my professional resilience program here in the Pacific, because they are impacted by natural disasters and climate change. And, you know, there's islands in the Pacific that they are going to have to leave completely because of the rising oceans. And I just feel that the work that I do for the people here, I'm hoping will be embraced, and I'll get to impact again here in this region.
Oh, you will. I know you will. Definitely. And so on the lighter side, what is a fun fact about you that not a lot of people know about? We already know so much.
Yeah, they're not so fun. I don't call them fun, those ones.
Do we have a fun one?
I have a fun one. Okay. I don't know. Do you call them prawns in America? I think you call them yabbies or prawns.
You're talking about shrimp, crawfish?
Shrimp. Yes, shrimp. You call them shrimp. I am the fastest shrimp peeler that you will have ever met. That's my superpower. I can peel them so fast because as I was growing up, my family are addicted to prawns. And if you didn't learn to peel them real quick, you didn't eat. So I am just fast. Pop them in. Fast. Pop them in.
Okay, so I'm a New Orleans girl, so we're crawfish, shrimp, and I mean, we have crawfish bowls all the time. So, I mean, you got to peel. So, yeah,
you got to peel.
Maybe I can find somebody to challenge you.
Yes, we might have to do that.
That is so cute. I like that. All right. Do you have a favorite book?
Yes, I have a favorite book. I mentioned it earlier, The Gap and the Gain by Dan Sullivan. And I just love that book. I love the whole pretense around, you know, our challenges, our obstacles, the really difficult things in our lives. The first thing that happens is we see the gap, you know, what is missing, what the difficulty is, what that obstacle is. And once our brain goes into that, and unless we have the awareness that that's what happens, that we're seeing the gap all the time in those things, if we don't have the awareness, we can't turn it around and find the gain, because there is always gains. Because even in our hardest times, we get to learn. We get to learn, and there are gains from that. So I talk about it with my husband, and he can catch me on it sometimes, and I catch him, and to each other we'll say, you know, you're seeing the gap right now. And, you know, we've just lightened it up because, you know, he also is a business owner and it can be tough. So just to making sure when you fall into that hole, start to see the micro wins, that I call them, start to see the gain. What's good here?
Yep. There's always something good. We just have to figure it out.
Yeah.
It'll show up sooner or later.
Sooner or later. Sometimes it takes a little longer than you want, but eventually it does.
All right. What about a song or songs? Do you have some favorites?
My favorite, I want to get on a table and dance kind of song that lifts my mood. Even as a 55-year-old, I still feel like I want to get on a table and dance to this song. Is The Killers' Mr. Brightside. I love that song so much. And when I'm in my keynotes, because I talk about how to shift our mindsets when we are feeling things are tough, and I use things in neuroscience to teach how we shift the minds. Like if something really is challenging, but yet we have to walk into our next professional moment, make a sales call or do a performance appraisal or meet a new customer, how do we very quickly, you know, shift our mindset? And one of the things that neuroscience tells us is music is a powerful method for doing that. Mm-hmm. So when I'm on stage, what I have people do from the audience is for them to choose their favorite uplifting, I want to dance on a table song. And I use tech for them to give me that, and we have it coming up on the screen. And what I do is I put together a Spotify playlist for that conference of everyone's uplifting song, and then I gift it to everybody so they've got this resource to get it out of their head at the end of the conference.
Oh my God, I love that. That is so much fun. So my actually, just so you know, I'm gonna go back a few. So my fun fact about me is that I was always, like, one of my friends said, I was a senior in high school, said, I dare you to go dance on that table.
And
So
what songs would you like to dance on tables to, Angel?
Right now it's Feel the Moment, but I can be any song. I'm a dancer. I used to dance in school. So
wow.
so I love that. So that is my fun fact. So I could actually use that. And I really like that. That was really cool.
Yeah, it's really fun. And when you've got everyone's song coming up on screen, it's like, oh my gosh, I haven't heard that song forever. And what I do is like I say, who chose that song? Like one of my favorites, and someone will put their hand up, and I'll give them one of my books, and it's just this fun thing to do, an interactive thing to do when you're on stage, and
yeah, that's a really fun one. So I can tell that story. So that would be perfect.
Yeah, definitely.
I love that one. All right, what about a favorite quote?
Oh, this is so easy. If it's going to be, it's up to me.
100%.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I don't think you need to, you already stay motivated, but I think everybody wants to know how you stay motivated. Do you mind telling us?
Yeah, look, I don't stay motivated. I stay disciplined is the answer to that. I think motivation, I'm pretty motivated. In the general term definition of motivation, I am a motivated kind of person, motivating. And, I motivate myself, I motivate others. But really, when it comes down to it, motivation can run out. And especially when you're wobbly, motivation goes out the door. So I think about staying disciplined, having my book, having the things I know keep me together, because it's the discipline of doing the things I know keep me together and keep me striving, keep me leading, keep me impacting. That's what I need. So to me, discipline is one of the greatest traits you can have when we're, as you said, like I'm the same, the squirrel's going off, get back to focus, get back to the discipline. It's the only way that works.
The only way. We have to focus, and that's it.
Yeah.
And that's how you do it. All right. What is the best way for our audience to stay connected with you?
They could go to HeidiDenning.com. That's Denning with one N. But I also, I'm on LinkedIn and Insta. LinkedIn's my favorite place to hang out. That's where I'd love people to connect with me. I'd love to hear their stories and what's working for them, how they have got over their petrol bomb moments. That would be wonderful. Through my website or LinkedIn or Insta.
And don't you have a cool quiz?
Yes, I have this online professional resilience quiz. I call it the Professional Resilience KPI. So it's take you 3 minutes online, and what it will do is give you a number, so how the challenges in your life, the world ones that you can't control, or the business ones that you're experiencing right now, are actually impacting your professional resilience. So I like to call it a starting KPI, because once we know that, if it's a good score, we know we just keep doing what we're doing because something's working well. So, don't change what's not broke. If the score's a little low, that is sometimes just a good time to think, right, what do I need to do? What discipline do I need to put? What is the focus I need to get my score a little higher? And people can find that on my website under resources tab. They'll find that easily.
That's amazing. And is there anything else you want to share with our audience today?
Oh, look, I just feel that, we need to, as female entrepreneurs, 2 things. Firstly, we need to keep our essence. We need to keep our particular essence. And if that means that you're very feminine, keep that femininity. If that keeps that. Don't get influenced by people around you who say you need to be a particular way. And I think I learned that certainly when I did this shift and I was working with big corporates for their associations. I thought I had to get on stage with a black suit and, gold accessories. And I've always worn big, colourful earrings, and I've got a wardrobe full of pretty dresses. And I just left that aside because I thought I had to show up in that way, but I wasn't true to me, and I couldn't even get the words out properly because I didn't know who this thing was that was, showing up. And it felt so wrong. So I just keep your essence, because people love humans, and they want the humanness to come out of, you as a business owner, definitely.
And who you are. I mean, it makes you who you are because you're distinct compared to anybody else.
Yeah.
Nobody has your story, Heidi.
No, they don't want it either. I wish I didn't have my story, let me tell you.
But I'm so honored you told it to us. I mean, that's such a blessing.
Oh, thank you. Thank
Thank
you.
you so much. And thanks for being here. We totally loved having you, Heidi.
My pleasure.
Bye.
Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of Female Entrepreneurs Magazine. I hope you found inspiration, actionable tips, and a sense of connection with our incredible community of driven women. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, leave a review, and share the episode with fellow entrepreneurs who are ready to elevate their game. Remember, your success is just the beginning, and we're here to support you in every step of the way. Until next time, keep shining, keep thriving, and remember, you have the power to create the business and life of your dreams. Stay inspired, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.